Have you ever pondered the nature of morality? What makes an action right or wrong? Is it inherently moral, or does it depend on divine decree? These questions have intrigued philosophers for centuries, and they lead us into the labyrinthine world of the Euthyphro Dilemma. Join us on a philosophical journey as we explore this paradox, venture into thought experiments that stretch the bounds of our understanding, and seek answers that have eluded the greatest minds throughout history. The fall into the abyss. Our story begins with Socrates, the famed Athenian philosopher, who found himself in a most peculiar situation. He stood accused of corrupting the youth and introducing strange gods to the city. Desperate to defend his actions, he sought the wisdom of a young man named Euthyphro, who was well versed in religious matters. Socrates asked Euthyphro a seemingly simple question: is the pious loved by the gods because it is pious, or is it pious because it is loved by the gods? In other words, is something moral because the gods deem it so, or do the gods deem it moral because it inherently possesses moral qualities? This innocent question gave birth to a philosophical conundrum that has confounded thinkers for millennia. The rise into the light of thought experiments. To comprehend the gravity of the Euthyphro Dilemma, let's embark on a series of thought experiments that extend its paradoxical nature. Thought Experiment 1. Divine Arbitrariness. Imagine a scenario where the gods declare that lying is virtuous. According to the Divine Command Theory, lying would suddenly become a moral imperative. But would it feel morally right to you? This thought experiment highlights the potential arbitrariness of moral values if they are dependent solely on divine decree. Thought Experiment 2. The Unchanging Dilemma. Now, picture a world where the gods change their minds frequently about what is virtuous. In this reality, morality becomes a shifting sand, leaving humans perpetually confused and unable to discern right from wrong. This thought experiment challenges the idea of moral stability in a universe governed by divine command. Liking the video so far? Consider dropping a like and subscribing for more thought-provoking content. Back to the video. The anticipation grows, philosophical perspectives. As our story progresses, we find ourselves entangled in the web of philosophical perspectives on the Euthyphro Dilemma. Divine Command Theory. Some philosophers argue that morality is rooted in divine commands. This perspective asserts that what is moral is determined solely by the will of a deity. However, this raises the dilemma of whether what is moral is arbitrary, and whether we can have a rational basis for our moral judgments. Moral realism. Others contend that moral values exist independently of divine beings. This perspective suggests that morality is grounded in objective principles that exist regardless of any divine influence. But this viewpoint raises the question of how we can access these moral truths. The conclusion: seeking resolution. As our journey through the Euthyphro Dilemma draws to a close, we find ourselves standing on the precipice of understanding. The ultimate resolution to this paradox remains elusive, but it has pushed us to reflect deeply on the nature of morality, the role of divine beings, and the essence of ethics itself. So, we leave you with this unanswered question: does morality spring from the divine will, or does it exist independently, guiding even the gods themselves? The Euthyphro Dilemma continues to beckon us to explore its depths, reminding us that philosophy is a voyage into the unknown, where every question leads to another, and every answer reveals new mysteries.